All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast. We're getting close. Just 2 more shows to go. Today's show brought to you by OURA. They're committed to empowering people to take control of their personal health and daily routines. Help you know why you feel, how you feel. Think about that. It packs advanced heart rate variability, temperature, activity, sleep monitoring sensors into a convenient, non-invasive ring. Head on over to OURA Ring, OURA Ring.com. We're talking about stage 20, the time trial, the race of truth. QLN.
Stage 20, Libourne to Saint-Émilion.
Oh, and the birds, the real Corsican birds are back. I was right. This might be the first stage that I was right, where I picked the winner. Wout van Aert. I mean, and we talk about him all the time. I mean, he's just got so much horsepower, clearly motivated.
Yeah, he looked
yet again, another win for Jumbo, so still only 8 teams. I think we'll end up that way.
He looked like a rocket ship on the bike today.
But to have the Ventoux win and the last time trial, like what a tour for him.
Well, this just perpetuates these questions that we've talked about beginning last year, and Johan continues to talk about. You know, if this guy wanted to commit to being a GC rider.
19th place overall in GC without even trying.
Right.
And not only that, but think about his crash that he had a few years ago in the Tour de France TT. You got to wonder if that was kind of in the back of his mind before the start, knowing how much he wanted that win. But all these guys, man, they're just like mental freaks nowadays.
How about the appendectomy right before the tour?
Also,
I mean, this
didn't have an easy road to get to where he is right now.
No. Today's show also brought to you by Roca. Love this crew down in Austin, Texas. Bunch of amazing athletes constantly pushing themselves in their daily workouts, but they push themselves to make the best product, the best lenses, the best fit, lightweight, no slip, all right there, whether it's the performance shades or even, I keep doing this because I kind of like looking up and looking at myself in a weird way. I don't like normally, but with these titanium aviators on, I feel like it's cool if I do that. And then the prescription side, JB, big fan. I'm a big fan. 20% off for our listeners. Head on over to Roca, ROKA, 20% off. The discount code there is THEMOVE. Also brought to you today by Athletic Brewing. These founders, Bill and John, I've followed their progress for years. They set out on a mission to make, there's a bunch of non-alcoholic beers out there. They're all crap. These guys said, we love beer. We love craft beer. Why can't we have a real craft beer that's non-alcoholic? And they set out to do it. And guess what? They did it. Expanding their brewery and the tap room on the East Coast, just opened a new brewery on the West Coast. Absolutely crushing. Only 50 to 70 calories a can. And you don't have to compromise your social life. It's all right there. The other cool thing is they give back. Right? They've got a cool program. 2 for the trails. They donate 2% of all sales dollars to maintaining trails and parks. Head on over to athleticbrewing.com. Free shipping for orders of 2 or more 6-packs. The discount code there is THEMOVE25. Gets you 25% off your first purchase. That's athleticbrewing.com. Listen, the big takeaway is Wout van Aert. I also think Vingegaard is proving himself. What did he get? 3rd in the TT today?
3rd in the TT, and essentially caught Carapaz, who started 2 minutes ahead of him. Think about that. Not only that, but apparently they were very unsure they put him in last minute for the Tour because he's got like crazy anxiety issues, like throws up before races.
Come on.
Like a nervous wreck. And to see this 24-year-old kid to probably get through that anxiety and get 2nd place in the Tour de France, now getting thrown into perhaps one of the favorites for next year, just an incredible story.
24, but looks about 14.
Yeah.
When he was warming up for the TT today, you just look at this, and he's lean. God, the kid's lean.
Yeah, he's lean.
But still has the power.
He still has the power. I mean, if you think about who he beat, I mean, I got up a lot earlier than George did today, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But I wanted to watch Stefan Kung, and he looked amazing. Went through the first time split flying, was 10 seconds up on Asgreen. I was like, oh, shit, this guy's going to lay it down, and just faded, which, time trials are all, you have to go as hard as you possibly can, but you also have to pace yourself. I mean, it's a full maximum effort. You can go out too hard, but Vingegaard beats him. This is a guy who's a specialist.
Specialist. Not only that, but speaking of Asgreen, 4 Danish guys in the top 10 in the time trial. Pretty amazing. Bobby Julich pointed that out to me today. Also said that it's funny, like this stage in the race, most of the guys are still hitting the set button when they cross the line so they can have the perfect data to upload. 3 weeks into the race, you'd think like, I don't care. I don't even want to see these numbers anymore. I'm done. But they're still recording the data.
Well, it seems like it's way more specialized. And that's a great point. I mean, at this point, at this stage of the tour, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
Right. And your numbers are going to be drastically different. And then Tadej Pogačar did what he had to do.
Yeah, which is what I said yesterday.
Stay on his bike.
And no risk. Why risk, crashing on one of these corners when you have a 5-minute plus margin? So I was happy to see him. Although he looked like he was suffering on TV, I think that was a bit of a showmanship, in my opinion.
Oh, le bluff, huh?
Le bluff, yeah.
Why don't you guys talk about how Vingegaard's world is going to change? I mean, he was, like he said, everything changed when Roglic had to abandon. And now we see how talented he is, how good he is. He's on everybody's radar.
Yep.
He's got another year of contract, I think. That's what we looked up. But, he's worth a lot more now as a cyclist.
And he's Danish, and Denmark is a very small country with a very, very rich cycling history. We can maybe hear from some of our listeners, but I'm sure it's a major story. I mean, and Denmark has been waiting for this, right? It's the history is not a perfect one there. I do think that Bjarne Riis is still well loved in that country, but they're all eyes wide open, and to have this young kid come along, I'm sure it's massive news.
Yeah, I was in. I did the Tour of Denmark after the year that Bjarne Riis won the Tour, and man, he was a rock star. I mean, talk about like what a crazy. There's crazy for cycling there.
Yeah.
Before we get into talking about Cavendish, which we do need to talk about, you guys were really interested in the tech of these TT bikes.
Yeah, we were seeing, Johan pointed out that a lot of the guys are using super short cranks now, like 160, 165s, which back in the day we were going 175s, 180, thinking that we needed that power and that leverage. But apparently they're going, some of the guys, like I said, 160s because they can get lower on the bike and it opens up their hip angle, which in that position, you need all that. A lot of the power comes from your hip. So they're going a lot shorter cranks. In fact, most of the guys on Albacin are using them on the road bike as well for the same reason, to get lower and be able to have that hip angle.
I find that hard to believe. I maybe I'm just old school, but the longer the crank, the longer the lever, and that was what we always thought. But
yeah. Not only that, but also heard that Matej Mohoric yesterday was he's one of the only guys on his team that uses tubeless tires, and he swears by it. Apparently they're way faster, but they're heavier, 400 grams heavier, but they roll so much better than regular tires that he loves them, and he soloed away for 40 kilometers.
Once you get them going, getting up to speed, and aren't they running not just the shorter cranks, but they're running bigger gears too on the front too.
Yeah, some of the guys had 58 chainrings. Those didn't even exist back in our days.
Right. I mean, 58. You have 58 on the front and 11 potentially on the back. I mean, nobody is riding 58-11 unless the wind is blowing 40 miles an hour. But the point, and we've mentioned this on the show before, we'll say it again, but the key is to keep the chain straight. So anytime, like conventional wisdom would tell you never go big to big and you never go small to small, because the chain angle is too extreme and it's just not efficient. But when you have a 58 on the front, you can run the chain straight the whole time, and then your jumps between the rear gears are just a lot finer. So when you're trying to really dial in the gearing, the cadence, the jump from gear to gear is a lot smaller. So we thought we were just the coolest, studliest dudes in the world when we had 55s. We're like, yeah, we want to throw a 55 on here.
Yeah.
And apparently SRAM has 10 in the pack. So you could then you'd need a 60 mile an hour tailwind to get that thing going. Also high cadence. I loved seeing the cadence from all the TT guys today.
Yeah. Which apparently the shorter cranks is quite useful for the high cadence as well.
Yeah, in a two Aussie shout outs, it was amazing and just inspirational to see Alan Piper at the tour today for the first day. We wish him our best. Know that he's going through a hard time, but to see him there and to have, and Pogačar even commented on it, how emotional it was for him to actually see him in person. I think he even mentioned he hasn't seen him since January. That was awesome. And Aussie Part 2 is Ben O'Connor. This kid's going to finish 4th in the Tour de France. Been a pro for a long time. He's only 24 years old, 26 years old.
Yeah.
You back out the bad day that he had on Ventoux, where he lost 4 minutes, I believe, to these other guys. He's on the podium.
Wow.
I mean, that's
incredible result. He's going to be super motivated at this. It's a funny story about him. At the start of the tour, one of the Australians going to the Olympics crashed out. So Ben asked the Olympic Federation, "Hey, I'd like to take a spot," and they were like, "Nah, we don't think you can handle it, or you're not good enough." And look what he did. He's going to finish 4th place in the tour. So they came back to him midway through the tour and like, "You know what? You don't want to go to the Olympics?" He's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm going to go home and chill."
You just wish you could record those conversations.
Yeah. He also some of the guys on the inside, he doesn't speak French, so he's on a French team. Imagine the pressure that you would get from French teams. So a lot of the guys think that it's a good thing he doesn't speak French because he's not understanding all the pressure they're giving him on a daily basis.
And probably just the shitty tactics that Vincent Lavenue potentially throws out. I would have done it. I didn't understand you.
Yeah, one of my buddies actually translates for him when they're in the race on the radio. They're speaking in French. He's got to tell Ben what they're saying.
But there's other. I mean, you have GVA on there. He speaks English.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm sure a lot of the guys do. But the meetings and everything that they talk on the radio is in French.
Wow, dude, you looked rough this morning when you came in.
I don't know what happened last night to you.
So I can tell you exactly what happened. Just set that down. So this is the backstory. So last night was Jimmy Johnson's wife's birthday party, Shani Johnson. Amazing family, and she's an amazing lady. So we all went out to celebrate. This might bring you back. We went out to celebrate her birthday with a whole crew, about 30 of us. And it got to about 11. Old man said, "You know what? I'm out of here." And I could see that this was going long. I heard there was like a DJ booth. I'm like, "I'm out. I'm going home." Well,
you ghosted us. All of a sudden, Elliot was just gone.
No, in fact,
you didn't tell me anything. You were just gone.
That wasn't your birthday. I hugged the birthday girl. I gave Anna a kiss, and I said, "Peace out. I'm out of here." And I was home about 11:30 in bed. And I rolled over at 2:30. Anna's not here. Well, guess she's out rolling with George Hincapie. Yeah. This sumbitch rolls in today. It looked like death warmed over.
Well, I thought it was more from me riding the pass yesterday with my son, but it could be perhaps the late night I had as well.
Well, if you're watching the show, you can see this is bringing him back to life. George is rocking my portable Joovv. I've donated it to him for the day. This is an amazing piece of technology, clinically proven to work, increased time to exhaustion, competitive cyclists, increased recovery from hangovers for people like George Hincapie. And this is
how come all of our products are turning into hangover cures for George?
Well, what all our products are, the thing I love about the products we talk about is that they're proven to work. Yeah. This is the main reason red light therapy is effective is because it boosts cellular energy, and the more energy your body has, well, the better it's going to work. It's a leader in the industry. Head on over to Joovv, JOOVV.com/TheMove, and there's a discount. Discount code is THEMOVE, $50 off your first purchase of the Gen 3 device or the Joovv Go 2.0. This is what George has on his face. You watch the difference it makes in this man.
I got to be honest. I got one of these wall units at home, and I'm fully addicted to it, but I need one of these. I'm kind of jelly on this portable unit.
Tell the crew at the Joovv. Yeah, I've got
Pete's at the Joovv. You got my address, please.
I've got the big 6-panel. I'm pretty religious about it, and check it out. See, he's already looking better.
I am. I feel better.
Dude, but for real, you came in and two things. I was like, oh my God, he looks terrible. And this is a man that usually looks really good. And then my immediately thought was like, I cannot wait to ride with this guy today. I'm going to punish his ass today.
Today's going to hurt. That's for sure.
It's one of our last rides. So I gotta get my punishment in while I can.
All right. The Cavendish story lives on. Tomorrow is like the most anticipated stage of the whole tour.
I mean, this is
pressure.
Tons of pressure. This was the script that we talked about in week 1, right? And it will be the only story tomorrow. The race for the GC is over. For those who wondered, like, it is a real race. I mean, I think it's worth stating. If somebody did have it, not to try to wish anything, but if Pogačar crashed and broke a collarbone and could not continue, He doesn't. With this tomorrow counts. It is celebratory. There's champagne in the peloton, and it's all these things. They still start the stopwatch and they still stop it. It's a real stage. So you still got to be careful. But the story of the day, which may end up being the story of this tour, is Mark Cavendish.
I think you guys have talked in the past about how sprinting on the last day in Champs-Élysées is a very different sprint. Does that work in Cavendish's favor?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, tomorrow is a textbook sprint for Mark. He's got the best team in the world for it.
Boy.
That said, it's not a given. I mean, the people are going to be doing everything they can to win the stage to get in a breakaway, and all eyes are going to be on Quick Step, but it'd be hard.
Their lead out is going to be
it's going to be insane.
Ferocious.
Yeah.
I mean, that will be, I mean, I'll just sleep until the last lap. I mean, there's nobody getting away. There's
nobody getting away. They have it fully dialed in where they need to go. They're Ballerini, and I'll go ahead and call it. Ballerini is going to go from 1K to go to that first left-hand corner, so 500 meters to go, and then Morikov's going to take him through that last corner, and it's going to most likely be a C in the douches move. He's drop the mic, break the record.
He's going to win one-legged, but and break the record, which is going to be amazing. The other thing, and I just realized this or thought about this, is that most of these stage finishes, these guys don't know. Nobody knows them, right? So you can look in the book and you can see there's a roundabout with 500 meters to go, but you're just kind of guessing, right? Your director goes before and tells you over the radio, but you really don't know. And so you don't know how wide it is, how tricky it is, how sharp that turn is most of the time, except for tomorrow. Like every guy in this peloton, unless you've never done the tour, knows every inch of this road, right? This is every corner. They know.
Yeah, they know. And
they know what's going to happen.
The way I said the sprint was going to work out, I mean, let's be real here. This is no easy task. I mean, they take that U-turn around the Arc de Triomphe back downhill, and it is chaotic on the cobblestones. The peloton is fighting for position. It may look easy on TV, but it is a super, super stressful sprint and very dangerous. I've been there many times, and had the pleasure of leading out Mark Cavendish in 2009. Same sort of scenario, but there's a big fight to get to that 1K to go.
If we needed any more indicators of how hungover you are, I'm going to give you another one.
Oh no.
There is no longer a U-turn at the top.
I said they go around the arc. Now they go.
You said U-turn.
Well, I didn't mean it. They go around the roundabout now.
Right.
They sweep it. It used to be more of a hairpin.
It used to be a straight hot dog turn, and that was really
Which is beautiful for the imagery. I mean, I can't believe we never did it. I'm kind of jelly about that, but
makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it would make it a lot easier, but it's still a downhill cobblestone, run towards the finish line.
Yeah, I think he does it.
I think so too.
I think I'm going to throw this out. It wasn't in our pre-show, but Chris Froome's going to make it to Paris.
I got it in my notes, and I know it's going to make him angry, but guys, this is a huge deal. The guy finished the Tour of Spain. I saw him before the Tour of Spain last year. He was barely walking in November. I mean, he was limping around. Finishes the Tour of Spain, crashes super hard in the first or second stage of this year's Tour de France, gets through. I'm telling you, we haven't seen the last of Chris Froome.
Well, we have, but that's not. That's neither here nor there. Listen, full admiration when he crashed early in the Tour. I said he's going to the hospital and he's going home. Like he's done. Like done with the tour,
and done with
and my sources tell me that he's still that they're dealing with some intestinal or stomach issue with him that those are rough on an athlete, and if you're not dialed there, I mean, if the gut is off, then you're toast. But
yeah, toast. I mean, but he's getting through this tour. He's building that foundation back.
Mad respect. He doesn't. By the way, he doesn't have to get. He could have stayed on the ground and said, "This is." He had all the excuses to go home. So mad respect for staying in there. 100%.
Yeah, it's like and I know you know him better, it's like he had to prove something to himself. Like if I don't finish this tour, then I'm done. If I get through this, then it's a building block, right?
Think about it. I mean, he probably loves hearing all the pundits saying he's done, he's not going to come back. Think about the motivation you would have if people were saying that about you. I mean, this is all somebody like that needs, is people telling him he can't do it.
There's only about 10 problems. Okay, and there's 10 guys in their early 20s, with no fear, high motivation, big engines, good teams.
There's a lot of competition, from young guys, which we haven't really seen that in the past.
Yeah, I think he senses or feels a sense of responsibility for being on a new World Tour team with a big budget. A long contract that was built around him. I mean, it is the honorable and most professional thing to do to stay in the race, right? I mean, I had this situation in 2010 with Radio Shack. Every minute of that race, I wanted to go home. But we had a new big title sponsor, new big budget, the team built around me, and you just can't go home. I understand that, and nobody gave me any credit for staying there, but but I admire it. I really do. The guy's a legend, and his Palmares speaks for itself and will forever. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him in the next year or two, because he doesn't have to continue to. I mean, he's like 10th from last in Tour de France. That's like being on Mars for most of us.
Yeah, but like I said, I think the point there is that he's building the foundation back. Like when you finish Tour de France, you can just dig so much deeper. Even if you came into the race super fit, you finish the Tour de France, 3 weeks of hardcore racing. Your engine just gets that much stronger and deeper. You can suffer a lot more for longer.
I'm impressed for Geraint Thomas staying in too. Same kind of scenario.
I was surprised to see him.
Not as severe, but
I was surprised to see him not going for it today. I know he's had a hard time, a lot of bad crashes, or one big bad crash. But he's a specialist in time trial, and I'm sure he's aiming for the Olympic time trial. So why not test it out today?
Well, if we believe what my scoops have, or very few scoops, but. Have you exhausted all your scoops for the day, or?
I thought I had some more.
I thought because you before the show you were like, oh, scoop, 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 and I haven't been that impressed. But my scoops said that he did in fact want to go home and prepare specifically for the Olympics, and Brailsford said, I don't think so. I think you're going to stay. So yeah, I don't know where the two meet. Because if a professional athlete wants to go home, he can go home at any time.
All right, I'll have one more thing that we should probably discuss. So, Geraint Thomas stays in support of Carapaz, which could have easily lost the podium. Is Ineos sitting there going, we saved our tour, we got on the podium? Or with their standard being so high, this is a big disappointment?
I would say it's a big disappointment.
I don't think anybody in that camp thinks that anything got saved. Today's show also brought to you by Element. I'm going to be filling my bottles full of Element today in anticipation of destroying this man to my left on the bike. It is my go-to hydration source, and I sweat a lot, so I lose a lot of critical and vital stuff in my body through the sweat. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, bunch of new flavors: watermelon salt, grapefruit salt, no sugar, no gluten, money back guarantee. They'd say if you don't like it, we'll just give it to a salty friend. Special offer for our listeners. Head on over to drinklmnt.com/TheMove and get your recharge sample pack for just the cost of shipping.
That was my issue. I was at your, fancy parties at these fancy private club with all these highfalutin people. They didn't have any LMNT at the bar. That was my issue. That's why I'm not feeling great.
They come in these really small packs.
I know. I got to start.
By the way, the ad is done, but this is a true story. You just throw these packs in your pocket. What are you talking? You're just not prepared. You're not. You know what?
I wasn't Profi yesterday.
You weren't Mosca.
I wasn't Mosca.
You were going to go out and party and drink and get hungover, and you weren't Mosca.
I guarantee you I would have felt a lot better.
Here's the thing. Mosca's got to be 24/7.
Agreed. I preach it all the time.
It's not 3 hours of Mosca.
Which by the way, we got a nice little Mosca book from our buddy McGinty back home. Loving this. This is going on my coffee table back at the house.
I got one too. I'm gonna learn how to be Mosca.
And you can borrow my fanny pack that McGinty sent and put some LMNTs in
We've
that.
changed his name. His name is no longer Matt McGinty. It's Matt McGifty. I just wonder why he gave me kind of the sissy-looking fanny pack. I mean, we
all got that.
McGinty,
mine's a little baller.
You ain't that special. I got the same
Don't
one.
be surprised if this gets re-gifted back to you. You can walk around Boston with that thing on. Let me know how it works out for you. You take that thing to Bruins game. Just keep it. I want videos of you getting heckled by all these goons out there. Today's show also brought to you by Athletic Greens. Total game changer. George and I have been religious about this tour, and I'm starting to notice a difference. It is the most comprehensive daily nutritional beverage you can take. 75 absorbable vitamins, minerals, probiotics, superfoods, all in one product. And they weren't content with the first product. They've reiterated the product 52 times to constantly make it better. Special offer, and I should also add a bunch of fans of this product: Peter Attia, Tim Ferriss, Joe Rogan. These guys know what they're talking about. Special offer for our listeners: a year's free supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. Head on over to athleticgreens.com/TheMove. There's our flow code. And yes, The flow code is green. I'm excited. I don't really care about this stage into Paris. Who wins that? I don't. It's mostly a sprint. I don't really care, but I care about tomorrow. This is a big deal.
Oh, you normally don't care.
Yeah, it's just another field sprint. This is historic. And I want people to really be aware that this is. Think about, we won't be alive to see this record broken. Think about that.
Yeah, we're definitely blessed to see the potential of the record being broken, and the anticipation of it tomorrow is going to be super exciting. We all love Cav, great guy. We saw him getting a little bit emotional yesterday. That's not him. That's just the pressure mounting up on him. The whole world's eyes are on him for tomorrow.
He's got to put that out of his head, man. That was straight pressure, and he was cracking. He made a nice comment on social media and apologized. And this is the day and age we live in. All this stuff is captured, and he doesn't know that people are. And by the way, there were multiple camera angles of this. So we capture everything. He got caught on it, but he fessed up, but the pressure's real.
Yeah. That stuff happens inside the bus all the time. I mean, we've seen it all day long in all of our teams, and 3 weeks into the Tour de France, the emotions are running high, especially for somebody like him who's got so much on the line.
One of our listeners made an interesting point about Cavendish. They said hypothetically he doesn't win tomorrow on the last stage. He's going year by year with contract for a sponsor. What is he worth for next year to show up?
Not much.
Really?
If he doesn't break it tomorrow, it doesn't break it.
But not the anticipation of it happening next year? No. It's all on the line now.
Yeah, it's all on the line. And you know what?
And Lefebvre's not going to play that game.
Yeah, and Lefebvre's already signed some big sprinters, so I don't think it's a set, done deal that he's staying there as much as he would probably like to, but it's going to cost a lot of money to keep him.
We said it 2 weeks ago. He has to stay on that. For him to be as good as he is this year, it is Lefebvre rehab.
Yeah.
He has to stay there. And I don't know that he stays there next year. So that all gets us to this place of he has to do it tomorrow.
He's got to do it tomorrow. But let's be real again. If he needs to, there's other people that will want him to stay on Quick Step. For instance, Specialized is going to want him to stay there. I'm sure they'll pony up if a little extra dough if it comes down to that.
But as George said to me this morning, win tomorrow. That's the best mic drop.
Absolutely.
Hang up your
That would be
career
amazing.
ever.
Yeah, amazing. I don't see it happening, but that would be the best mic drop ever.
Would he retire? You mean talk about
he
him?
won't.
Yeah.
He's loving it, right? He's back in love with the sport, with everything going on, and I don't see him stopping after tomorrow, even if he wins.
Damn. I wonder what it's like to break records on the Champs-Élysées. Is anybody? Anyways, we have updates too from Brevard. Apparently, this is the last day. So this is, and we're getting videos from people. We're getting photos. We have not just people at the tip of the spear riding super fast. We had.
I love this.
This is amazing. This is what I was calling out at the beginning of the tour. JB, remind me this beauty's name.
Is it Rona? Rona's 74 years old.
Rona, 74 years old, leading her age category. But we got a really awesome video from. Come on now, awesome. Come on, Rona.
Then I think I overheard y'all talking. She just started cycling like 4 years ago.
Well, her lady who runs or who leads a women's only group ride in the area sent us a video yesterday. Said that Rona started coming on these group rides just in recent years, and she was driving out to support her on Pilot Mountain. And she went up there and crushed that thing.
But
I
think
there's a lot of people out there today.
Nipped me by like 15 seconds.
Not only it's 74 doing a gravel segment, all right. She started biking at 70.
No, I know. I mean, it's
too cool.
Here is the men's overall. This is, of course, this whole thing brought to you by Outside Plus, which has just been amazing partners. Leaderboard brought to you by The Feed. David Talbot. This is our private equity guy, equity trader.
Yep.
This same guy still in the lead.
So Ben Wright went back and did it.
So I think the speculation was
he's doing it again today.
He's doing it again today. So the plot
last day.
But he thought he was close to the KOM yesterday, and he was 12 seconds down. I'm getting nudged here that he's going to go back today, and he should. I mean, as we said at the beginning, you can do it as many times as you want. but he's got 12 seconds to make up.
That is a heated race.
That's amazing. This kid, he better get. Jill Patterson's still leading by 22 seconds. So Madison Maloney coming in. Rachel Jordan in third. I wonder if Madison, was that today or is she going to go back? What's the date today? I should know these things.
Today is the 17th.
17th. So she did that yesterday. Madison, but you might want to go back. You're still 22 seconds down, which, by the way, is not that much time. Like, that's the difference of all things. I mean, if you just have a slightly better day, you get tire pressure more dialed. Who knows what the wind was doing, although there's not a lot of wind on that climb earlier in the day or later in the day when it's cooler. 22 seconds is nothing. Get back out there. Well, that was all the slides for the... Oh,
no, we got some surprise slides.
This.
Yes.
And it's...
The Buddhist camp is on for LA.
So here in Aspen in the summer, the Buddhist, the Tibetan monks come here a lot, and they'll kind of post up around town. Have you seen them around town?
No, I haven't.
They spend a lot of time at the Institute right here across the street, but they'll post up around town. The other day I hiked up the mountain after I saved a lady's life, but they were posted up at the top of the gondola. And but you'll just see them around. And when I see these guys, and as much of this stuff that I do now, walking around barefoot in the grass in the mornings before anybody's up, gratitude. Yes, here it is.
Stay grounded.
And here is the monk Armstrong, and flying overhead, and being the jet spotter that I am. That is a Global Express, and George has got his logo, and he flies over the Lance the monk and says, "Stay grounded, Lance."
Is that my ride home Monday? That'd be kind of nice.
Listen, this is for next year. We are going to get an image of you standing, and I could probably get you pretty close to the runway, and it just say some shit like Greenville or bust. You'll have all your crap around all your kids.
That would be funny,
with
actually.
your thumb out.
We can organize that. Somebody will pick me up.
Oh God.
Questions?
Do it.
It's probably the last day we're going to do them. But thank you for everybody sending them in for 3 weeks.
Heck yeah.
It says, do you guys think a really well done crit series in the USA could help make the sport more popular? I'm imagining bringing some pros, music, artists, art, music, food, and intense pro level crit racing. Wondering your thoughts. That's from Brandon.
Well, there's no doubt crit racing is super exciting to watch. And there are some big criteriums, but I don't think it'll change much. I think the pandemic has brought a lot of new people to the sport, and we're in a much better place than we were a couple of years ago. And I think hopefully that momentum keeps going, and those new people that came to the sport stick around.
Yeah, and there back when we were kids racing, there were some, and a few of them are still around. But we had these iconic criteriums, man. They were just, and maybe like Somerville still. You have the Athens crit down there in Athens, Georgia. You had Gastown in Vancouver. Like these things,
They've been running the ads on the NBC for one in Littleton for this area. Yeah.
You had Nevada City Classic, which is kind of a crit, but more of a circuit race, but huge crowds. But if you did then couple it with music and food and entertainment, all these things like Todd Sadow does at
Make
big
it
events,
a party,
and which he does with his mountain bike events. So you've got pro level mountain bikers there. You've got age groupers, and then you've got a straight up music festival. You've got almost like a small industry trade show. He's nailed it, right? So if you I think there's potential there.
Cool. I'm a recreational cyclist, and what I hate the most,
So am I.
are the exhaust gases from cars passing me when I'm going uphill. Why don't we see sustainable transportation in terms of team cars and support in the Tour de France? I would expect a promotion of green technologies since biking is the greenest. That's from, I'm going to mispronounce your name, Bostian in Slovenia.
Yeah, I think we'll start seeing that with a lot of these electric vehicles coming on the market. It would be a great thing. So
we'll send a note over to Elon Musk. That would actually be. I mean, the trick is, and of course, George will remember this. In our earlier tours, the tour controlled everything, and I mean everything, and not just the sponsor, the yellow jersey, and all the jerseys in the finish line. They controlled the car sponsor, so every team had to drive a Fiat. They controlled the water bottle sponsor, so every team had to drink out of a Coca-Cola bottle. now a lot of these teams have probably pretty big deals with car companies. But yeah, I mean, all these car companies are moving that way. It'd be an incredible story, but impossible at this point to do a blanket deal. You never rule out Elon Musk. I mean, the guy can pretty much do anything, but most of these car makers are going that way. I've never had an electric car. I'd totally do that though.
Oh, I would too. The Mach-E. Ooh,
I got one.
What is that?
that's the Ford's new electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so
Smoking. All right. I'm going to ask this question, and I know the response we're going to have from this whole team pretty quickly, but we get asked this a lot. When are you going to broadcast from France? You could, let's say, leave Aspen right after the pod prior to rest day, travel, then go to town and do each pod from each town and follow the tour. Can this happen?
No.
Okay.
The answer is no. I mean, I walk 58 steps to get from my house to this studio, and it wears me out. Imagine commuting.
I know our better halves would be all for that. We joked around about it one year about maybe going to like southern France and making a We Do base there for the tour. I'd be down.
But it's to follow the tour with this traveling roadshow would be a nightmare, and we would never be able to get all this online from hotels. Yeah,
we rely on even this house that we take down and convert to garage. It'd be a fun little piece of content just to kind of show the back end of the show. But I mean, we have to pipe in like extra whatever data, I guess it's called, cables, all this shit, but just to make sure it's uploaded. And in my experience being in Europe, it's so wildly inconsistent, just the bandwidth, to upload the show and not just the audio, but the video and all the stuff. Virtually impossible. Now, well, I don't want to say anything that commits me to going to France for 3 weeks, but 5G might change a lot of things.
We've brought this up before, worth addressing again. Is there a reason why the names of the riders is not on their cycling jersey? I can't think of any other sport having a large number of athletes competing at the same time that has no way for TV viewers to easily identify.
Well, I'll tell you what,
that's from Sean.
It'd be a good thing for Phil Liggett.
Well, some of the teams have their
point in his career
last names in the back of the jersey. Some of them did, or I don't know if they did this year, but it's definitely been on some teams.
And I love that idea, right? And if that were to become reality, well, then the athletes, imagine people out buying their jerseys, right? You're buying a Pogačar jersey. Well, Pogačar gets royalties on that. That's the way that should work, right? But if you go buy a Tom Brady jersey.
Also, that jersey is real estate, expensive real estate. So some of the sponsors don't want to confuse their brand with last names.
Well, one of the most challenging things as a spectator is figuring out who's who when you're looking, especially at overhead shot when it's building up. That would help tremendously.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I just got troubling news from Higgs back in the control room. He said that, and I should have known this, it said the stage finishes a lot later tomorrow.
Yep.
So therefore we start the show a lot later, and therefore we leave here later. But I have a noon tea time.
That's not happening.
This is, no, for real.
It's always later.
Did you just see how I went a little blank there for a second? I was like,
what happened?
I don't know if we can adjust.
Yeah, remember it always starts late. It starts at like 5 o'clock in Europe usually.
But they try
not
to
5,
end it,
maybe
don't they try to end it with the sun setting at the in
now
Paris?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
yeah,
this
so
is I got to make some serious adjustments. Unless you guys just want to take it, because I don't know if I can move it.
You're gonna have to move it. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Are we dressing up again? Remember last year?
I didn't bring anything. You didn't give me the heads up. Don't go there. We're not dressing up, dude. We can't.
We could just do a few shows really early in the morning. One with the Cav winning scenario. One with Cav losing scenario.
Yep. Yeah, let's do that. I'll be balls in the air at noon.
We'll do several clips naming some possible winners.
Right.
And then I'll put it all together.
Yeah. Mario Cipollini has won another stage in the Tour de France. Now I'm kind of speechless. Shit. This is a real. I deal with a lot of problems during the day. This is the biggest so far today.
All right, one more that I thought was a great question from Anson. Says, I noticed you guys talking about how the new generation is different. Things have changed. I was wondering if you remember any old guys talking or critiquing how you raced back in the day. Great question, Anson.
Mm-hmm. I don't think during our glory years, but our early years, it was, man, there was some. I remember maybe we were just young and totally nervous and impressionable, and just sort of felt like we were not worthy of being there. But you had these old, like Guido Bontempi, like this guy, man, he would get on you. Oh, Argentine.
Yeah.
I mean, Argentine straight put you in timeout. I mean, it was just to put the fear of God in you. But when on our run, I think, I mean, it was
Not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't, but not that I remember, unless you.
No, I don't remember. Sorry, you can't dig deep enough.
That's because you have.
I think
you
we
better turn that Joovv back on.
Yeah.
The whole time between now and when
It's
we
going
ride.
to be on, trust me. But we did fail to mention the fact that some anonymous riders are calling out the big four teams about strange sounds coming out of the rear hubs, insinuating potential motor help, which I mean I think is ridiculous. Everybody I've talked to inside of the peloton that I know also thinks it's ridiculous, but nonetheless, it's a story. Our sport, is always there's always looking for negative stories.
Well, we got into that a little bit yesterday with Johan. If the winner goes to doping control, their bike goes to an inspection.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can even dismantle the entire bike.
Yeah.
Which is a nightmare for the mechanic. We went deep on that yesterday, but they're being checked out.
Yeah, the story could be told. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that 60-minute thing on us perhaps using motors, and it was actually like pretty realistic, but is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen on TV, especially for an outlet like 60 Minutes.
All right, so this comes in. I'll just read clips of this article. So it's a Swiss article from a newspaper called Le Temps, which means the Times. And this is the thing that just gets me. It says they alleged on Thursday from 3 separate riders that wanted to be unnamed. That
of
wanted
course.
to be. Okay. Then that right there, the article's over.
Yeah.
If you're not gonna say to stop it with this, that they'd heard noises like they've never heard before from the rear wheel, and then they go deeper and they say it's really 4 teams, and oh by the way, there's 4 teams in this race that are that much better than everybody else, and I mean, shut up.
Yep.
This is just come on. Absolutely not.
Well, Johan went off on this. All it takes is a rumor, an accusation, in that same governing body that did the raid on Bahrain. They can show up and do whatever they want.
Yep.
Yeah, and we've the race has been established. There is no drama for the yellow jersey. They're these outlets and the people that read this and want to believe are looking for some excitement, looking for something to, some scoop. Yep. Like we joke about scoops, but they're, and tomorrow we'll have a great story to tell, hopefully. But the last week it's been pretty predictable. So this stuff, unbelievable.
Well, the journalists that cover the sport also try to destroy it. You don't see that in other sports. It's crazy.
No, it's a different dynamic.
We're going to have to get going. We got to cancel his tea time for tomorrow, so before the ride.
I got some good news.
What do you got?
The results from the finals this morning.
Oh, wait. Raleigh Hager back on top. Where is this?
In San Angelo, Wake the Desert.
Damn.
That was the finals.
That's awesome.
The champ.
She's
back.
Look out.
You're better up your hourly rate for taking those people out on the lake surfing trips. The champ is back. Congrats, Raleigh. All right, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will see y'all tomorrow. See if we see. It's real simple. Tomorrow, let's just see if history's broken or rewritten, I should say. I'm excited. Thanks for tuning in.